This example is provided here to show just how simple it is to add a snowy mask to video. There is no good reason for NASA to do this, unless there's something to hide. Yet another item in the Inculcato bag of tricks is the red-green-blue color cycling effect. This weirdness only appears in downlinks from the black and white low-light night cameras aboard the spacecraft. If you've ever watched black and white TV, you know there are no native colors other than variations on black, white, and gray. But NASA seems to have found a way to colorize their black and white TV signals in ways no other broadcaster ever has before. The two example clips shown here are slowed to 10% normal speed to emphasize the phenomenon. It's quite distracting to the eye, and therefore likely to help obscure that which we are not meant to see. Since the STS-48 incident caused a furor in the early 1990s, rumors have abounded that NASA instituted an 8 to 10 second delay in their live broadcasts from space. It was denied, of course. In 2001, during the docking of STS-102 to ISSE, a well-known debunker smugly claimed that with stopwatch in hand, he timed the live broadcast of the event, and thus proved that there was indeed no delay. His claim was unproven. The pre-docking maneuvers of Russian cargo freighter Progress 18 in June 2005 left no doubt that there was a delay. In fact, that delay has been shown to be no less than 20 seconds. As Progress was approaching the station for docking, a ground controller at Moscow Mission Control mildly complained that the live video feed they were getting from NASA included this 20-second delay. He did, however, say it was okay. Let's take a look at the proof for this delay in broadcast now, shall we? This is the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov, just outside Moscow. The man who inadvertently spilled the beans on NASA's long-denied broadcast delay works in this building. It's known by the acronym TSUP. This is a sizable complex, and many different aspects of the Russian space program are monitored from here. Now let's hear the words which expose the secret.
Range is 63, right? 62 actually. Well, it's about 20 seconds delay that we have here. Yeah, it's a slight delay. It's okay. Range is 63, right? 62 actually. Well, it's about 20 seconds delay that we have here. Yeah, it's a slight delay. It's okay.
You heard it all for yourself twice. The ground controller in Moscow was referencing a 20-second delay in the live video feed being provided from Houston to aid the Russians in guiding and tracking the automated Progress vehicle. So there can no longer be any doubt. There is a broadcast delay. And NASA doesn't even let our Russian partners in the ISS program have it in real time. We've covered the artificial snow NASA adds to their TV signal at night, as well as the odd red-green-blue color cycling in the nighttime black and white TV. Now we've shown you that the so-called live TV from space is broadcast on a considerable delay. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Knowing these tricks NASA uses to obscure anomalies in space, you should now be ready to see what gets past the sensors. Next for your examination are the anomalies of STS-96. The intrepid crew of STS-96. The flight of STS-96 began with the liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery from Launch Complex 39B, Kennedy Space Center, on 27 May 1999 at 10:50 Greenwich Mean Time. The mission to the new International Space Station was designated ISS Flight 2A.1. It was devoted to pre-stocking supplies aboard and included an EVA, or spacewalk, to install a Russian-made exterior crane known as Strela. At this time, ISS was uninhabited and would remain so for well over another year. The first expedition crew arrived 1st November 2000, and the space station has been occupied continuously ever since. However, in spring 1999, ISS consisted of just two modules, the Russian Zarya and the American Unity node. The crew did a fine job, meeting all goals set for them. The flight lasted just over 9.5 days, landing safely back at Kennedy Space Center, runway 15, 6 June 1999 at 6:03 Greenwich Mean Time. The orb is the first of 4 incidents from STS-96. This event took place on 3rd June 1999 east of New Zealand. The time at Mission Control Houston was in the wee hours of the morning. The crew were asleep. It was early evening on the surface of Earth far below. On orbit, the sun was just setting. Discovery was flying tail first into the night, and the payload bay camera was pointed east toward the ship's vertical tail. Off the tail could be seen a reddish, glowing orb. This orb was pulsating slowly and hovering in a fixed position relative to the shuttle. During the entire time of this incident, the object never moved in any direction. The sun went below the horizon and the shuttle's tail disappeared into darkness. The object, however, remained. This strongly suggests that it was self-luminous. Its lack of relative motion shows it was in the same orbit as Discovery and that it was not astronomical in nature. This is one of the emptiest places on Earth. It is virtually devoid of inhabited islands, and there are almost no shipping lanes. 6 people working with intense concentration at their stations, and 1 talking excitedly on the phone. Were they concerned about the object out there moving with Discovery? The object is in the highlighted circle. Shuttle's vertical tail is to the right, with a photo for comparison. Note that the tail is still illuminated by the setting sun. That would change shortly, while the object, which is further into the darkness, remains lighted. The sequence of events begins with the animated tracker showing the shuttle station complex east of New Zealand flying into the night. A quick look at Mission Control before heading up to Discovery for a view from the payload bay camera. As the sun sets on the vertical tail, please notice the object near center screen. The overall redness in the picture is an artifact caused by NASA color cameras at night. The object is out there beyond the vertical tail of Discovery. We can see here that as the sun sets, Discovery's vertical tail is lost in the darkness of night. The object remains, however. This is virtual proof that it is self-luminous.